Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're talking about the new travel series palettes from BH Cosmetics. These are all currently available. I purchased them myself from the BH Cosmetics site. However, all three of these palettes can now be found on the Ulta website as well. Each one is priced at $17 US a piece. There's one cheek palette and two eyeshadow palettes, so let's start with the cheek palette first. This is the Tanned in Tulum palette. It seems like they're redesigning all of the packaging on the travel series palette, so they're all this more white background, very aesthetic type of look. They were more individualized before. Each palette looked pretty different. The unifying thing was the travel theme, but now it looks like they're all gonna have this more minimalist white aesthetic look. So this is a cardboard packaging. It does have a magnetic closure. There's no mirror inside any of these palettes. Before we get to the inside, I do want to point out on the back here, all three of these palettes we're talking about today are marked as cruelty-free and vegan. So my vegan friends, all of these palettes will work for you. Alright, when we look inside the cheek palette here, like I said, no mirror. We just get another little image. Then we have two very shimmery highlighters. You could also dip in and sort of mix these to make your bronzer more shimmery. And then we have four matte bronzers. I'm gonna go ahead and show you some swatches of this palette. That way you can see what these look like applied to the skin. Especially with these bronzers, I think they look more similar in the pan than they do once they're applied to the skin. A little bit later on in the video, I'll also show you an application demo where I try several of these cheek colors on my face. For me, personally, I don't think I'm going to gravitate towards this palette too much. Unless you're a makeup artist, I don't really see anybody needing 4 different bronzer colors. Now, with that being said, I do think this would be a great affordable face palette for a makeup artist's kit. You are getting 4 nice bronzers in here, and the fact that these 2 highlighters can be dipped into as well to make the bronzer a more shimmery, satiny looking formula. So I think this palette would be great for somebody who is doing makeup on a lot of different people and working with different skin tones. But I don't necessarily think this is the type of thing that just your everyday personal use type of customer is necessarily gonna need. Hey, maybe you are a bronzer-aholic and that's your jam and you love the idea of being able to sort of customize your bronzer shade. The formula is definitely nice. It blends well. I think it looks nice on the skin. The shades that they chose to include are going to work on a really wide variety of skin tones, which I like to see. I'm pretty pale, and I think that the shades that I chose to use today look really nice and natural on my skin. And I can definitely see somebody going more towards these bottom shades or mixing in with these shades on the bottom row here to cater towards a deeper skin tone. So not a bad palette, it's just my least favorite of the 3 because I don't really see myself needing this much bronzer, but formula-wise it's good, it's just not really useful in my opinion. Now let's talk about the eyeshadow palettes. I have been such a huge fan of the BH Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes lately. I'd say over the past year or so I've really become hooked on their formulas and their color stories. Which one should we do first? Which one? These are both new palettes. We have Party in Puerto Rico and Passion in Paris. Lots of P alliteration. Let's start with Party in Puerto Rico. Same exact packaging, shape, size, everything, just different graphics. And again, we have cruelty-free and vegan here. And I looked through these ingredients and there's no may contain carmine. This is a carmine-free palette, at least according to this ingredients list. So this really is for the vegans. I really, really like this cover art. With all these little pops of blue and green though, it makes me wish that I could see this bright blue reflected in the shades inside. They definitely went for a very fiery orange, yellow, red type of color scheme in here. which I still like, and I'm very comfortable in these shades. I love a matte yellow, so this is definitely what my eye is drawn straight to here. So 16 shades, just like all the other travel palettes, with the shade names labeled directly below. I do want to point out that on both of the eyeshadow palettes there are pressed pigments in here that are not intended for the eye area. This is likely due to red pigments that can cause irritation. Some people are pretty allergic to them and they can get hives and bad reactions. Other people only experience mild irritation or something as simple as staining. So for any shade that's marked as a pressed pigment not intended for eye area, I highly recommend patch testing those shades. I do have a whole video where I go in more depth about how to patch test, what patch testing is, why you should do it, why do these warnings exist. So I'm going to link that video down in the description box. Please go and check that out if you have no idea what I'm talking about, or even if you're somebody who's never really paid attention to this. Maybe, you know, it's good to know. It's good info to have. We want to protect our eye health. There are pigment warnings in some of these. As expected, the shades are ones that contain red pigment, so red, orange, purple, pink, those type of shades. So when I show you the swatches, I'll put a little asterisk next to the shades that you need to patch test. That way you just, you know, extra safety net. Can't hurt. Can't hurt. We have almost an even split here, 9 mattes and 7 shimmers. There's a nice shade variety in here. We do have a couple of neutrals to work in with these brighter shades. I like that it's not just an orange palette. We have a little bit of pink, a little bit of yellow, even a little bit of red worked in there. So there are a lot of dynamic looks you can do with this color story. We've seen so many warm toned, warm neutral, orangey brown palettes in the makeup world over the past several years. I like that this is still in that comfort zone for a lot of people, but it's definitely a bit of a different take. I'm not saying it's the world's most unique palette or anything, but it's a twist on a warm neutral palette. There's some exciting pops in here. I like it. I would party in Puerto Rico with this palette anytime. Let's move on to the Passion in Paris palette. This is my favorite. I'm not sure if that's going to be surprising or not because there is a lot of purple in here, and if you know me, you know that purple is my favorite eyeshadow color. But there's also blue and a lot of cool tones and a lot of things that haven't necessarily been my jam. So this is kind of a wild card palette for me. Let's just go through the info first. Same style of packaging, same sort of theming, same info listed on the back here. We do have the little vegan stamp of approval, and there are, once again, some shades in this Passion in Paris palette that are pressed pigments. How's that for alliteration? So just make sure that you patch test any shades that are marked as not intended for the eye area. Each of these have 9 shades that I recommend patch testing. So here's a close-up look at the cover. We see the Eiffel Tower, of course. And then again inside, no mirror, a really cool close-up shot of the Eiffel Tower. And here are the 16 shades in the Passion in Paris palette. I love the mix of colors in here. BH Cosmetics has done a great job of doing interesting color stories, especially this past year. I really like the balance that we find here. We've for sure got some cooler tones. We've got some really deep, sultry, dark colors. I love the mix of red, blue, and purple. Definitely got some nice true neutral shades over here as well. I just think this is such an interesting, fun, exciting mix of shades. And I'm not sure if it's picking up well on camera, but this is actually a super deep, dark forest green, which is such an interesting thing to pair with these purples and reds. There's just enough neutral purple burgundy in here to make me kind of breathe a sigh of relief, like, okay, these are my colors, this is my jam. but there's also a great sprinkling of shades that really inspire me to want to get out of my comfort zone as well. I'm sure you can't tell from my eye look today, but I love the idea of having this curated color story to make me want to dip into a deep forest green, a navy blue, or a really cool toned kind of grayish slate blue. I love the way these colors play together. I do think this is just incredibly well curated, well crafted, interesting, fun. Take a look at the swatches. These swatch beautifully. Every single shade in here has performed absolutely fantastically, both in swatch and on the lid. We have the same split of finishes in here, 9 mattes, 7 shimmers. Now that you've gotten the info, seen the swatches, let's take a look at a quick little demo tutorial using the Tanned in Tulum palette and the Passion in Paris palette on my eyes, and then I'll wrap up all my thoughts at the end. Well, it's probably pretty obvious. First of all, I really like the way my look turned out. As much as I am a blush girl, I actually like the more minimal bronzed and highlighted cheek with a slightly more bold eye look like this. The Passion in Paris palette is my absolute favorite. If I had to pick one of the three, it would be this one. I do like both of the other palettes. I think I'm more likely to reach for the Party in Puerto Rico palette over the Tanned in Tulum. I think that my cheek colors look really nice. I have nothing against this formula. I just don't need this many bronzers. So that's why I would rate them the way that I have. But overall, I'm impressed. I think all three palettes are worth the 17 bucks that I paid for them. Now's the time when I want to hear what you think about these palettes. Have you tried them? Are they on your wish list? Are they on your radar? I always love to hear what you think about things too, so make sure you leave all your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! When I do I know that we see so many warm tone struggling. Maybe I need more coffee. Oh wait, let's do that at the end. Okay, you're getting ahead of yourself, lady. Kick it down a notch. This bronzer highlighter combo is honestly really working for me. I like the idea of a more summer minimal cheek with a bolder eye like this. I think it's cute. I like it. I like the balance. And I am a blush girl, so that's saying something. Alright, I'm getting distracted. Focus. Alright. Hello. Okay, editing Amanda. You know what to do. Make it make sense. Put this part where it should be so that it makes sense. A couple people asked me to compare this palette to the Blueberry Muffin palette. There's legitimately only 3 blue shades in this palette. This is not a blue palette. I'm sure that you look at it and your eye is like, ooh, blue palette. But these are the only really blue shades in this whole palette. 3 shades out of 16. I don't even have anything good to compare that to because it's just a very different color story. And I have literally hundreds of palettes. Hundreds. Multiple hundred. And I think this is a really unique, cool color story. So that's why, I mean, I didn't even bother doing comparisons. Obviously the others, I could have done comparisons for them, but like you could just tell by looking at them. It's like bronzer palette, orange palette, you know. You get it. You get the gist. Just here for a good time. Okay. Anyway, thanks for watching. I love your face. I love your face so much that I made this t-shirt that says I love your face. And you can find it at my Etsy shop. Go check that out. I'm adding a bunch of cool new stuff. And I've been working on my fall and holiday stuff, and it's going to be so awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm going to start sneak peeking that stuff probably in August. Okay. Anyway, love your face. Thanks for watching. You're cute, sweet, and smart, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.